Hello, my name is Daniel Lee, and I teach adult education at ASU-Newport. And I wanted to make a quick video about the three branches of the federal government. Let's look at these. So there's the legislature, the executive, and the judicial. So three equal branches of the federal government. Let's break each one of these down. So the legislative, or it's also called Congress, is made up of two houses: the House of Representatives with 435 people elected every 2 years, and the Senate, which constitutes 100 people, and they are elected every 6 years. And the main job of the Congress, or the legislative branch, is to make laws. These are the 535 Americans that come up with laws for our country. So that is the legislative branch. The executive branch is run by the president. And you can see all the departments that are underneath the president. It's pretty substantial. Department of Transportation, Department of Homeland Security, the Attorney General, Secretary of the Veterans Affairs. So the president has a lot of power, but he has to delegate this power out to these departments. The main job of the president is to enforce laws. So the House of Representatives and the Senate pass laws, and then it comes to the president. And he can either sign the law, or he can veto it, or say no to it. He can pardon people, which means let them out of jail. He appoints federal judges and Supreme Court judges, and he is elected every 4 years. And he can only serve 2 terms. As a side note, the House of Representatives, as I said, was elected every 2 years, Senate every 6 years, and they do not have term limits. It's a big debate now, should they or should they not have term limits? Because some people stay in power for 40 years, some senators and representatives. So that's the legislative branch, the executive branch run by the president. And then you have the judicial branch, which is the Supreme Court. There are 9 Supreme Court justices, and as you see, they are the top law people in the country. They concentrate on the Constitution, and they decide if laws are constitutional or not. Do they follow the U.S. Constitution, or do they break from it? And they are appointed for life, because you don't want Supreme Court justices trying to win popularity contests. Ideally, you want them concentrating on the Constitution. All right. So 3 branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial. So why is this significant and also different than what came before? Is because of checks and balances, the separation of power. Each branch checks and balances the other to make sure that they stay in line. You can see that the legislative branch nominates and controls the budget that the president proposes. It can pass laws over the president's veto if they get a 2/3 majority, and they can impeach the president if they feel that he's not doing what he should. But you can also see the president can veto congressional legislature. So each one checks and balances the other, and also the judicial branch checks and balances both by making sure that they do what is in accordance to the Constitution. If the judicial branch feels that the president or the Congress are unconstitutional, then they can take actions against that. And you can see the president nominates judges, and the Senate confirms them. So this is more of that checks and balances, that separation of power. That is a quick overview of the 3 branches of the federal government. Be sure you study this, watch some YouTube videos on it, and become real familiar with it.